This is Financial Straight Talk with Jim Fox.
And we continue on this week's edition of Financial Straight Talk. As always, it's powered by Wadadley Financial Group. And once again, we are here with the founder, president, and investment advisor representative, Mr. Jim Fox. My name's Kevin McAlpin. And of course, Jim and I, we appreciate you being with us here on the program. And we hope you are having a great, great day. Well, Jim, I know one of the often overlooked pieces of planning for retirement is what you want to do with your stuff when you're gone. And we've kind of touched in the past on some of the unusual things that people will put in their wills. Well, you can now add singer Ed Sheeran to that list because recently he told the Zane Lowe Show he plans to release an album entitled Eject after he is gone. Let's take a listen to this.
My will of wishes is to make a record out of all the songs from the age of like 18 to when I pass away. It's actually in my will, and Cherry gets to pick the tracks for it. Lots of people won't like that, but there'll be lots of my fans that would find that super interesting.
And it only comes out
after I'm dead, yeah.
I want the estate to take care of it and do it properly.
Yeah, and I'll talk to Cherry throughout my life of like, I really like this one, I really like this one.
Well, that's certainly one I've never heard before, Jim. But when it comes to sitting down with folks, I know these conversations are never easy, right? Talking about, wishes after you're gone. But how can you really ensure our listeners that, their final wishes are really handled the way they want them to be?
Yeah, so probably, and I think I'm a broken record when it comes to a few subjects here. Obviously, Social Security is always a pain for me, right? Because there's so many moving parts. It's so difficult that people are like, just answer the question, Jim. But I don't do that, okay? So Social Security is one of those issues. The hardest thing that I do, right? And anyone that's ever came to my office, we kind of have this thing we call our proposed outline, right? It's basically how to keep Jim on track, right? That's what it is. And the last bullet point of the last thing that we talk about is legacy planning. It's the last thing. And why is it the last thing? Well, we got a lot of other important things we got to put together first in your financial plan, right? But legacy planning is the hardest. And it changes, right? So it changes. Maybe you got 2 kids and, everything's great. And then one of your sons marries the evil witch. And all of a sudden you decide, I don't want to leave that money to her. And I want to, there's just lots of moving parts, right? Maybe, you decide that you want to leave your money to one charity and then you decide not to. So legacy planning is such a difficult thing to do that we always make it our ongoing project. And I'll give you a great example. This would blow you out. My staff, when it comes to existing clients, you know what their hardest work is? You know what the absolute hardest thing for them to do? Now, once you're a client, Kevin, so you're a client of mine, you've been a client for 10 years. Guess where they put the most amount of effort into your case?
That's a great question.
Because you would think it'd be like investment reviews, right? Yeah. That's actually pretty simple. I just go, last time you're in, it was here it is. Hey, you're up or down this number. The hardest thing and where they put the most amount of work in is beneficiary changes. Maybe they put all their stuff in a trust. Maybe, Mary is no longer going to get 33%. She's going to get 15%, right? Because it's so fluid and it's always changing. So let's talk about things that people think are great moves that, in my opinion, and this is only my opinion, turn out to be a total pain in the butt. Okay. First things first, your will. Congratulations. You put what you want to happen on a sheet of paper or multiple sheets of paper, and it's notarized or not notarized, whatever you want to do with it. I want you to know it's great that it's there, but it has no teeth for the most part. And the reason why I say that is, let's just say as an example that I pass away, Michelle's already gone, Hunter and River are getting 50-50 in my will, right?
Right.
And let's say they're not getting along. And River, who is the dominant one, that's a nice way of saying what she can be sometimes, says, you know what, I want 60%, or I'm going to take you to court and we're going to fight over this. And Hunter goes, well, we're going to court. Well, guess what? Now it gets tied up in probate court because the will does not skip probate. That's why I never, ever, ever have as a beneficiary the estate of, ever. Because guess what, Kevin, I could pass away and you could find out about this. You could go, you know what? I'm going to go and tell the courts that Jimmy told me 25 years ago that he's giving me 50 grand. And you can actually go to court and argue that I was supposed to give you 50 grand when I died.
Wow.
Right? Because that's what probate's for, right? Now, would it work? Probably not. But do you want the government deciding exactly who gets your money? Your will is just a suggestion. I always tell people it is fantastic for your spoon collection. My mom collected spoons, okay? Mm-hmm. And I don't know why we have 18 spoons from Gatlinburg, but we did, right? One of, like how many Dollywood spoons can you get, right? Mm-hmm. And she left that to one of her church friends and stuff like that. So wills are great for those purposes. Your home. So we're very fortunate, and I don't know Georgia rules, so I can't say if this happens in Georgia, Kevin, but I know for my Florida listeners, we're very fortunate. We have something called a ladybird trust or a ladybird deed here, right? Mm-hmm. And what that basically does, that puts a beneficiary on your home. So if I die, well, my home doesn't have to go through probate because whoever's on my ladybird inherits the house, right? Mm-hmm. So that's a great tool to have. And we talked briefly about it kind of as a joke, but not so much. Let's say that you do have two kids and one of them marries someone that you're just not really overly thrilled with, right? Mm-hmm. And they have kids. Well, there's ways to bypass the spouse if your child was to ever pass away first, right? And create what we like to call a bloodline trust. See, all of these things, and I feel like I'm wandering the weeds of financial weenie world right now, right? Okay. But what I need you guys to understand is the hardest thing for me to do is figure out what happens if you die. Because we got to be so precise in the decisions, right? Mm-hmm. If you have a special needs child, ladies and gentlemen, we need to get you a trust. I'm saying a lot of ladies and gentlemen today. That's bizarre, right? I want you. Yeah. I feel like we're in a circus or something right now. Maybe it's the Halloween thing.
Maybe.
But like everybody has a different need. I guess my point, as I ramble on and on, is this: going and sitting down with somebody and picking out some mutual funds or picking out a stock or buying an annuity or whatever nonsense products that they have does not equal being prepared in financial planning. It just doesn't. And that is the reality of it. And I would be lying to each and every one of you if I told you my entire career I was the guy that was doing proper financial planning. No, I was a sales guy. I worked for the largest at the time, the first $1 trillion company back in the day. And we were taught to sell mutual funds and we were taught to sell life insurance and we were taught to sell annuities, right? Mm-hmm. And I will tell you that although I think that definitely has a place in helping people accumulate wealth, you're at a different phase in retirement. Okay. You're in a much different phase in retirement because you're now utilizing your wealth and you're either utilizing it to live on it or you're building that wealth to pass on as a legacy play to what matters in your life. It's your family, your charities, or whatever it is. My point is this. Most of you that are listening to me right now have no clue what direction the legacy play is going to be. Yeah, you say, well, my kids are going to get it. Okay. Well, if you have 3 kids, let me help you. You can't say, a third, a third, and a third. It has to be 33, 33, and 34, right? You have to break these things down. And I want to encourage you that this is a big deal. This is the end. This is the bow. This is how we wrap up your financial plan. And we have to make sure that everything along the way fits into our box properly and makes sense. So if you live longer, if you get sick, if you do whatever it is, my job is to make sure that we plan for all these things that could potentially happen. And then what do we do when you finally pass away? How does that work? And it is so difficult. It takes me, in some cases, years, Kevin, to dial this in the way that the clients really want, because they're always changing their mind, right? We do a little bit of work, then we adjust, and we adjust again. My point is this. If you walk in, you get a history lesson of how much money you made, and you walk out the door, or you walk in and go, you only lose money if you sell, right? That's kind of like finance, meetings 101. That is not financial planning. I don't know what to tell you when it comes to wills, trusts, healthcare surrogates. I don't know what to tell you because I don't know you. Mm-hmm. But the one thing I do know are my clients. And I'm not saying if you pick up the phone and call me, you're going to become my client, because I don't even know if that's going to be the case. You might not like me and I might not like you. But what I want you to do, regardless, when you walk out the door, know what you should be looking for. You have to know what to expect when you go meet somebody. And that's what I want you to take away, regardless of if we find a path to work together or not. Understand something. It is your money. If you don't care about your money, nobody else will. And I want you to know we're here and we're making that offer to all of our radios. I always make it like it's to the, no, listen, we just want to do what's right. Nobody helped my mom and dad. Nobody ever sat down and said, let us walk you through these processes. They were just, my dad was a janitor. My mom worked in the kitchen. They just wanted to sell stuff to them. Mm-hmm. What I want to do is provide you with ideas and solutions, but I can't do the work for you. I want you to pick up the phone. I want you to give us a call. And I know you think I want to sell you something, and I'm telling you, I don't. Come to our office. Let us help you out. Let us point you in some right directions. Let's give you food for thought. And if you walk out the door and we never see you again, at least I know I armed you with some information to make better decisions. It all starts with you, and it all starts with you picking up the phone and giving us a call. Kevin, I'll let you give out the number. We'll wrap the show up. I want you to hear this from the bottom of my heart. You have to want to do the right things with your money before you can expect somebody like me to help you do the right things. It all starts with communication and, most importantly, a relationship. And that's what we want to do, is build a relationship to help you make better decisions.
If you'd like to learn more, you want to get on Jim's calendar, you want to make sure your legacy is handled the way you desire once you are gone. These are tough conversations, but they're certainly important conversations. And Jim Fox and the team at Wadadley Financial Group, they are here to help. Pick up the phone. We do have teammates standing by to get you on Jim's calendar right now by dialing 321-414-7526. 321-414-PLAN. The website is getfst.com. That's fst.com. Well, Jim, it's been another entertaining show as per usual. And before we run out of time, my friend, the floor is all yours once again for the final word.
Thanks so much, Kevin. Well, guys, every week we say the same thing. We know that you have tons of options when it comes to getting financial information, and we're just honored to be one of those resources. So like Kevin said, if there's anything we can do, pick up the phone, give us a call. We're here to answer those questions. But with all that being said, on behalf of myself and Mr. Kevin Mack, I want to thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time on the Financial Straight Talk.
Thanks for listening to Financial Straight Talk with Jim Fox. To learn more, visit getfst.com.
Insurance products are offered through the insurance business Wadadley Financial Group. Wadadley Financial Group is also an investment advisory practice that offers products and services through Impact Partnership Wealth LLC IPW, a registered investment advisor. IPW does not offer insurance products. The insurance products offered by Wadadley Financial Group are not subject to investment advisor requirements. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any references to protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims paying abilities of the issuing carrier. This show is intended for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as the sole basis for financial decisions, nor should it be construed as advice designed to meet the particular needs of an individual's situation. Wadadley Financial Group is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during this show shall constitute tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any government agency. The information and opinions contained herein provided by third parties have been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by Wadadley Financial Group.